Okay, what I wanted to show now in this video is how to create a drawing file from my soft jaw part. So here's my soft jaw that I've created. I've based this drawing or this part off of a drawing that was on Canvas. If you remember, it was this drawing here on Canvas. So I'm using both the specification sheet here and this drawing to create the part that I've created on Canvas or on Onshape. And now I'm going to create a sheet from this. So I'm going to place this on a sheet. How do I do that? Well, once I'm confident with my part, I can go over to part 1 in this bar over here. I can right click this and say, hey, create drawing of part 1. Same thing, I could highlight the whole part, right click, create drawing of part 1. They're both going to take me to the same spot. Now, if I want mine to be exactly like the thing on Canvas, then I am going to select the ANSI A inch. So that's just the size and the type of paper or sheet that we're going to use. I'm not going to do the 4 views because if I looked on Canvas, it's actually a 2 view only. So I'm going to go no views, and I'm going to then drag my views in there to mimic what I see on Canvas. So I have my sheet over here, and because I've created the sheet from the part, it already knows I want to pull in this part. I want to actually add this part. So I am going to put the front face over here on this side. And that might be like a little different, but remember, we're only doing 2 faces, so it can be over there rather than like the bottom left. Typically, in a 4 multi-view drawing, you have your front, the bottom left, above that top view, right side view, and isometric. But in this case, we just have these 2 views. Now, remember, just from these 2 views, I created that part in CAD correctly. Just the same way as if you're in person, you would create this part in the shop. You could create this part in the shop, okay? So it's not like I have enough information here to create the part, which is exactly what I'm shooting for. So if I notice a couple things when I put the part in, I can look down at my table down here or this title block, and I can see that the scale is 1:2, meaning this is half the size. If I put a ruler up there, it would be half the size of the actual part I'm making. So if I was 1:1 scale, I could literally lay my part down on that piece of paper and it would line up exactly, but this will not, just because we need room for all the dimensions that we're going to do, even though we're not doing too many. So I'm just looking at this sheet. I pulled this part in there, meaning it just defaulted it, and I clicked, and then I moved it to the left, and I clicked again when that other view was on it. Now, if you look at the tabs up here, this is still highlighted. It's called projected view, meaning if I clicked on this part over here and brought it above it, it would lay down a top view, which is not necessary. So I'm going to delete that. I just pressed the exit key to get off my projected views, and then I clicked on it and pressed delete on my keyboard if I want to do something like that. So I'm just going to put these dimensions on here. I will start with the left side view, the side view. If I can see, I'm doing my overall dimensions, and then I'm having some dimensions with some tolerances there. So I'm just going to do that. I'll zoom in so you can see this a little bit better. Right there. So I'll start with my overall top part where I'm going 1.5 and 1 inch with a plus or minus tolerance here, which is symmetrical tolerance. I'll put those on there. So moving back on my dimension tool up here, I will click on 2 lines. So I click the dimension tool, I click on the left side and the right side. I'm not clicking down right now because that's not the dimension I want, but I'm saying dimension from that line to this line, move it above it. Now, if you look at the Canvas drawing, it is quite far above it because we are trying to clear it away from other dimensions. So then I'm also going to say, well, okay, you did that. I also want a dimension from this line to that line right here, that cut, and I have a 1 inch mark here. Now, I could put it right here, but I remember that I need to put a tolerance on here. So if I put it here, my tolerance is going to run, my text for my tolerance is going to run into that arrow. So I'm going to put it off to the side like this. If we look at it on Canvas, it is off to the side as well. And while I have this up here, if you notice, like, I can click on this little like detail thing, and it basically brings up the details without me having to double click on it and exit my dimensioning tool. I can go, oh, yep, I do want to add a tolerance in there, which is right here. I click on this tolerance. I click on symmetrical, and then I can say, well, it wanted me plus or minus 5 thousandths. So there we are. And I can click off of it. I can see that this is 1 inch plus or minus 5 thousandths. It looks exactly like it does on Canvas. Great. I'll do the last dimension I'll do for this side is the hole, so I'll do my other dimensions. The other dimensions, there's 3 of them. They're the hole locations, the side hole locations. If I look, I have 0.75 from the side over here, and then I have the height from the bottom. Okay, so I have they're both 0.75 from the side, and then I have the different heights from the bottom. All right, I'll do that in Onshape. So first I'll do from the side, I'll click the center of the hole, and the side, I'll bring down my 0.75 right here, and then I'll do the same thing, but from the bottom. So the center of the hole to the bottom, looks like I have 0.375, and then from the bottom to the other hole, I have 1.125. So that's 1 inch, 1/8 of an inch. So 1 1/8. Here we go. So I have this. What does it look like in Canvas? It looks exactly the same. Great. I just created this. I'm almost done with this side. All I have to do now is do the hole. So what I'm going to do is not the dimension tool up here. I'm actually going to go over a little bit and look at something called hole callout. Remember, if you don't know what something is, just leave your mouse over it. It will tell you what it is, and it'll even give you a little like, hey, how do I use this tool? So it says place a dimensional callout label on a hole. Select a circle, which is part of the hole feature, drag it to place the callout. So I'm clicking on this. It says just click on the hole, bring it out. Okay, if you made the hole exactly how it was supposed to be made, then this information should be correct. It might look a little different on Canvas. Let's take a look. So it does have a diameter. It tells me that the diameter is this. It does have this word called tap, which is a threaded hole, basically. And then it has 3/8 of an inch by 16 by 2. And then there's a 2x there, meaning times 2, because there's 2 holes there. So this is something we will have to edit a little bit. So I'm going to click on this and say, I'm actually going to keep everything the same. I'm just going to add something down in this text right here, this text bar. I'm going to add the 2x. And just click off of it. So something that I would do on this paper as well is I would actually move this call out a little bit so it's kind of out of the way and there's enough space from that line there. If I look at Canvas, it's kind of easy to tell that those are 2 different things. We want that same thing in our drawing. So I left a little space there for that hole. So it's pointing to that hole, and it's just has a 2x, meaning that that's the same information for the hole below it. So you're done with this dimensioning this side at this point. Now we're moving over to here. If we look at that on Canvas, which we can, zoom out a little bit, then zoom back in. Hopefully move it over. I can't really. So I'm going to look at this front face here. And there's only one hole call out again. And then there's this side and the bottom. So all the dimensions are coming from, go go down to the bottom, and then there's the left side as well. So let's do the overall length of the part, and then the distance between the holes, these two holes. Not hard, we can do that. So I will dimension the overall length. I've clicked on one side and the other. Some people like to click on just one line. You could have done that, I guess. I'll bring it down to the center. I am actually lining it up with the bottom here. Any chance that you have the ability to line up when they're the same part, I would probably take advantage of that and do that. Then I'm going to click the center of each hole with my dimension tool. I'm going to say, hey, yep, you're going to click, you're going to be like this right here. Now, something I'm not doing is I'm not adding these tolerances in there yet. So I need to add that tolerance for that one. Well, say I clicked already. I'm like, oh, wait, I can still just hover over it and then click and add a tolerance. So I can go ahead and add this tolerance, symmetrical tolerance, and it's the same one as all of them on the paper. It's 5 thousandths. Okay, and then I'm done. I'm clicking off of it. It centers it for you, which is nice. So if you had it centered, and then you were going to add the tolerance, it recenters it for you with that tolerance. So that's good. Looking back on Canvas, I'm not worried about the scale there, that scale text. I am going to do the left side now. Now, this is the one that dimension is a little bit off. That's not the correct dimension there. We will have 3 dimensions here, but that one will be a little off, a little differently, and I'll show you how it is. So let's take a look. So they do have the overall dimension for the side. So the side over here is dimension. I clicked off the dimension tool. Let me click back on it. So I can't just click on this line because it's not going to give you the right thing. I do have to click the bottom or the top and then the bottom and bring that out like this. So that looks correct. And then if I look on Canvas again, it does have the dimension from the bottom to the center of the hole. So we'll do that one. The bottom to the center of the hole, and it's brought out. Now, I'm going to bring it down here because this is going to have a tolerance with it. So if I bring it up here, that text is going to be pretty long. So I'm going to bring it down here so it's not in the way of other leader lines, what they would call these. So I will add that tolerance, the symmetrical tolerance. Again, it's just I delete that 0 and make that 5 thousandths. That's 0.005. If I look, that is on there. Now, the next dimension I'm going to do is different than the one you're seeing here. It looks almost the same, but it's a little different. And that is basically I'm dimensioning from the bottom to the next horizontal line, not the one above. There's 3 basically. There's the top, and then there's the top of this semicircle we created, and the bottom of the ledge. So we are doing it to that bottom ledge part. It is going to read out 1.505, and we are going to add a tolerance in here as well. So I'm going to put it right here and add a tolerance, a symmetrical tolerance of 5 thousandths. And I'm done with that one. Now, that looks different enough, but just in case, I am going to move this guy down a little bit to do some separation between that text. So I have these things, dimension, the center of the hole, from the bottom to that ledge, and the entire distance, the entire height of my part. The last dimension that you can see here is the hole call out. So I'm going to do the hole call out, and I only have to edit by putting the 2x there. So let's go do that. I click on the hole call out button. I'll just click one of the holes. I'll do the same one that they do in Canvas. I'll bring it up. I can line it up with the other things. I don't want to do it like this or anything like that. I just want to bring it up kind of to the center of my part and then edit by just typing 2x in that line there. And now I have a hole call out that gives me it tells me the information I need to know. This is a through hole. The through part of the hole is 0.531. The counterbore diameter is 0.781, and it is how far does that counterbore go down? It's 1 inch, and there's 2 of those holes. Now, the last things I need to do is, it's not done yet. It's fully dimensioned, but the last things I need to do, if you look at my part, I do have some lines, like it shows hidden lines here. Each hole has a center mark, and there's a center line running through each view as well. So let's go ahead and do that by very easily. So I'm going to get off of this whole call out. I can just click it to uncheck it basically, or I can press exit on my keyboard. And then I'm going to right click on the left side view and say show hidden lines. If I do that, well, I wonder if I just deleted everything, but I think it's just taking a while to load. So let me try that again. I'm going to right click and say show hidden lines. It just shows the hidden lines of the circle or the holes that we created. So that's correct. Let's go up and click on this center mark. And then I'm going to click each of these holes. And while I'm on that function, I might as well click the holes over here as well. So there's a center mark inside of those circles, those holes. Oops, I missed one, it looks like over here. And then the last thing is the center line. See, there's a 2-point center line here. There's an edge-to-edge center line here. There's a 2-point center line here. Let's look at the difference. If I go edge-to-edge here, it just runs one vertically, which I don't want. I want to run it horizontally. So I'm going to undo that. Well, I thought I was going to undo that. Click on it, just delete it. You could have done, but if we look in CAD, this thing extends beyond it. So I'm going to just do my own. And how I do that is I go to the 2-point center line. I'm going to click the triangle on the side of this one. So that means it's the center mark of that line, which is the full length. So it should be completely centered. Click across. And now I have a center line in there. And I can do the same thing over on this view. I can click when there's a triangle, drag it down, click when there's a triangle again, and now I have a center line running through this guy. You do not need to add the text with your sheet that says a scale of 1 to 2, like there is here. You could, but this doesn't show the title block, and yours does. So you will have this paper when you print it out to create this part. You'll have the paper and you can tell that it's title block. You're almost ready to turn this in. The last things that you need to do are just adding text. So some text I would add. You already have your name on there. You should already have your name. You should already have the date on there. There's only the title of this thing, which you can name this. You basically double click here and you start typing and you say, you delete that line that's in there, those things that are in there. And you can say, hey, this thing is called the what? This is called this soft jaws? Sure. Soft jaws. Sure. Typically, this is all capitalized, so we could just capitalize it rather. Say, okay, I'm just going to put caps on soft jaws. Okay, green check mark. Great. I could delete these gray parts there. Those are something that is in the way, so I could just say, hey, this is A101. That's a typical, whoops, I forgot my caps locks on. A101 sheet. That's a typical first sheet. And we could add text in here by clicking this text button, making a note, saying note, saying, hey, this is the manufacturing 2 class or advanced manufacturing 2. So advanced, and again, it should be let's go to mark. I can move my text over. So there you go. And you're done. At that point, you would just go up to the share button, turn on link sharing. So share button, click on the link sharing tab, turn it on, copy that, and submit it to Canvas. So submit as a URL, or even text. It'll work that way. And then you're done with this assignment. Okay? Hope this made sense.